Hi guys, today we will start with the basic interactions for our Unreal Engine 4 project. First, a little word about what we're going to do next. As I promised before, we're going to create an environment where we can put lots of different stuff, work with materials and interaction. And it will help you to create your own environment. Unfortunately, I'm not yet ready with such a project. To set everything up and prepare for the classes online is it can be quite challenging. So I think I will manage to do this until next time, till next Monday, and we will start from scratch, from zero, creating our environmental interactive project where we can attach a character, create some NPCs, make some interactions with the environment, create lights, and so on. So today this will be like a really simple short stream about creating some basic interactions. The things kind of like we did last week on the end when we created the switch for our blinking light on and off when our character is entering the trigger in our scene. Today we'll expand on this and create an actual light which will switch on and off depending on our character interacting, and it will be like a really short and simple tutorial to do this. And I hope next time I will finish the preparations for this big project that we're going to make together, and yeah, so let's start. I'm ready here with my black cat Mecha, which is helping me today, sitting on my knees. I hope everything will be all right and she will not step on a keyboard or something. So yeah, let's start. I see there's people actually joining us, which is really nice. Thank you very much. I know it's a weekend, it's an Easter weekend today, and yeah, thank you very much for joining. So how we gonna do this? First of all, we're gonna create a trigger in the world, I think, or we can create a new blueprint with our light anyway. Yeah, so maybe let's do this, and I will show you how the two different blueprints, like our character blueprint and the blueprint which we actually put in the world, can interact with each other. Okay, there's actually someone in chat. Hi Julia, I'm actually interested in seeing the cat. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have a camera, so I can't show her live. So I don't know how to help you. Maybe I will send some photos if you're interested. Yeah. So yeah, if you everything is okay, just use the chat. If you have any questions, as also, type it. Don't be shy. So let's start with creating a basic blueprint actor. So right click on our content browser and let's select blueprint class. So from here we should select what type of actor it should be. So it should be actor. So it's like it's not a character. It's not something that we can possess and control. So it's like a simple switch light. So let's use an actor, and let's call it BP as for blueprint, and switchable underscore light. Okay, we created a new blueprint. We can hit save all to immediately save it, and let's put it all together in our scene. So now this actor is very simple. It has no geometry, no lights, it has nothing. If we double click the blueprint, we will see that it's absolutely empty, only having the scene root node, which is like represented by this little sphere here. So to add some functionality to it, we need to add actually something which we can interact with. So let's add a component and point light. This is our point light component, and it will, if we click compile and save, it will, as you can see now, show in our scene, in our blueprint switchable light. And as you can see, there is actually a light emitting from our actor now, and yeah, the scene is quite bright, so maybe I can change the time of day. If I take my light source and let's see, the light source represents the direction from which the sun is shining, so it's over there. So let's put it like, let's make something like a late evening. Okay, so this is for the sun direction, and I should select my sky blueprint and refresh the material. Now I have a nice evening scene. The last thing, I need to update my skylight, so I should just change a little bit the color, and as you can see, now it's like orange evening scene. If you hit play, some error. Okay, whatever. As you can see, we have an evening scene with our actor which emits lights, and we have shadows from our character. So cool. Maybe I should put it to movable because I don't want static lighting anywhere. So I should put all my light sources to movable. Okay, so now we need to make a logic for our light to actually switch on and off depending on where we how far we're away from it. So to do this, we're going to add another component in our blueprint switchable light, which is called collision sphere collision. It adds a little sphere which is not rendered in our game. It's only there for collisions, for interactions with other objects. And let's set its radius to something bigger. Let's say 150. Let's compile and save. As you can see, this is the representation of our sphere in the scene. It's not that big actually, as I was thinking. So let's put like 300. Compile, save. Yeah, this is better. Actually, in Unreal Engine, 100 units is 1 meter in real life, so 300 is like 3 meters. So this is the 3 meters distance from the light. Let's put it to maybe 10 meters or something. Compile, save. Yeah, now it's too big. Okay. Yeah, because I put not 1000 but at 10,000. Yeah, 1000 should be fine. Yeah, it's pretty big. So now let's create a logic. So when our actor is entering this sphere, the light will switch off, on and off. And to do this, we should go to our event graph. Here we have some logic. We don't need begin overlap. Yes, we need this, but not exactly. So first of all, we need to put our light intensity to 0. So when we start our game, it's actually switched off. Then we are going to add a logic to our sphere. When the player is entering it, the intensity on the light will go to 5,000 or 10,000. So let's do this, and I'm selecting my sphere in my components tab, and I'm selecting, going down on my property tab, details tab to be precise, and I'm going to select on component begin overlap and clicking the green plus button. It will create the on component begin overlap event. So as you can see, the events in blueprints are all have red I don't know, heads here. So the nodes which are the events have this red color coding to them. And this means when the specified actor enters the sphere, we will execute this chain of events. So let's first specify which actor is actually interacting with our sphere, with our switchable light. Let's move here and type cast2, and this will be a third-person character because we want our character to switch the lights on and off, and we can easily cast to it. So casting is actually, it's like telling Unreal, like look at this blueprint and say if it's this character or not. So we can cast to anything, but we need to specify the reference. So the program knows which object type we're actually referring to. So in our case, we're casting to our third-person character, so we want only the third-person character to interact with this, and we want it to be the other actor which is actually entering the sphere. So we're connecting other actor with the object reference of the casting. So the casting is like communicating between the two blueprints, which are separate in a content folder, in content browser. So you have two blueprints, you can cast from one of them, but you need to remember to have a reference of this blueprint in your existing blueprint. So for now this is gonna work. So we only will switch our lights when there's actually a character entering its sphere dimensions, and then we are going to change this point light intensity. So to do this, I'm dragging and dropping my point light here. This is a point light reference from my components, and from it I'm typing set intensity. So this node is asking the point light to set the intensity to this amount, and to do this we just going it executed after we cast it to our character, and the intensity will be 5000. So I'm typing 5000, and that should do it. So what is going on here is that when our character, so when something enters I'm sorry, if something enters our dimensions of the sphere, which is the component of our switchable light, we're asking if it's a character, so we're casting to the character and asking it if this overlapping actor is actually a character which we're casting on. If yes, so cast is okay, we're setting the intensity of the light to 5000. If it's not, we can specify something here. If the casting is failed and the entering character is not actually our gameplay character, we can make a print string, which is like text which will show in the corner of the screen, and say is not a character. So it means that the object which is actually overlapping our blueprint is not a character, so the light will not switch. So let's test it. Let's compile, save, and hit play. Yeah, I don't know what do you want from me. And yep, when we are entering the sphere, the light switch is turned on. So now it's working. But when we are leaving the sphere, the light still keeps shining. So we need to address that and to turn it off when we exiting our blueprint. And I think I know what's happened here, because I deleted some stuff, yeah, in level blueprint, so I don't need it. Yeah, there will be no error then. So this is the logic when we entering our sphere. So yeah, let's make it smaller a little bit, and let's make it visible in game in our details tab. compile, save. So to add logic to switch off the light when we're leaving our blueprint, we should also select our sphere, go to events, and on component end overlap. So when our character is leaving the sphere of our blueprint, we will set the intensity of light to 0, so the light will be turned off. So let's end overlap. Let's copy the same logic with Ctrl+C, and let's connect this the same way. And now let's set the intensity to 0. And here, if the casting is failed, we should say character haven't left. So it's still there somewhere, but it will actually never fail, so it's just for the sake of it. Okay, so now let's test this. Okay, and now when we're entering the sphere, the light is turning on. When we're exiting the sphere, the light is turning off. So simple as that. We can enter the sphere from any point, and as you can see, as long as we are in bounds of it, in the dimensions of the sphere, the light will always switch on. Also, we can add some geometry to our blueprint, so it's actually a light and not just a light bulb from nowhere. To do this, I should add another component to my root of my blueprint. Select component and select static mesh. And this will be our mesh for our lamp. And I believe in starter content there is some lamps. So let's select lamp, lamp ceiling, lamp wall. Yeah, lamp wall I think is it. And in viewport, let's see what it is. Yeah, it's here. Let's put it a bit down so it's not overlapping with our light. Yeah, like this. Let's compile, save, and let's see. Yeah, we have our lamp, so we just need to rotate it a little bit to put it actually on the wall like this. And our light is just a little bit in the wall, so it will not shine properly. So let's move our point light a little bit further and maybe up. Okay, so now we hit play, we see a lamp, we go into it, and boom, it's now shining. And it's actually creating fancy shadows. We're going away, and it switch off. If I jump, now I'm still in bounds. Oh yeah, as you can see, it's turning on and off. So this is like super simple basic stuff. Let's extend it a little bit to something more interesting. So let's say I want to customize my blueprint. So for example, I want to create lots of different lights, and I want them to shine with a different color or different intensity when I approaching them. So to do this, we need to create a variable. So we know we have our intensity. So we know we always setting the intensity in this blueprint for 5000. So what can we do to change that? We can add a variable for the intensity, and we can make this variable public, so when we are in editor editing our lamp, we can specify which brightness it will turn on when we're entering it. So I'm right clicking on new intensity, and I can promote it to variable here, or I can go to variables on my left side and click plus button to add a variable, and let's set it to intensity, right? So as you can see, the intensity when I'm mouse hovering is a float. So a float is any number from minus I don't know how to say it, from minus infinity to plus infinity. So it's any number which can have decimals, so it can be 5.5, 1.35, 7.22, 8, minus 8.7800. So it can be any number. So it's actually what a float is. And our intensity right now is a Boolean. A Boolean is a variable which can only be defined by two numbers, 0 or 1. And it's used for the gate or branch logic. So if the Boolean is 1, do this. If the Boolean is 0, do other thing. So we don't need definitely this for our intensity because Boolean can't be greater than 1, but we need 5,000. So let's change the type of our variable to float and compile. As you can see, now it's 0. And let's put it in here, get our intensity, and let's put it to in our new intensity which we are setting, and let's make this variable public. And to do this, we need to click on the eye icon, and this means that this variable can be edited in our editor or accessed by other blueprints in our program. So let's type 5,000 as a default value for our lights. Let's compile and save. And now when I'm selecting my blueprint, you can see in the default category in the details tab, there's actually an intensity showing up. So I can send this to 1000. Then I can create a copy of this light and move it, for example, right here. Let's place it nicely. Yeah, like this. And let's set the intensity for it for 10,000, like really bright. And let's try to trigger them and see what difference is. So when I come here, it's like a light with 500 strength. If I come here, it's light with 10,000 strength. Maybe the difference is not seen very much here. I'm not sure. So let's set it to something really extreme. Let's say 100,000. Here, let's say 500. Yeah, you see the difference. This is a 500 light. This is 100,000 light. So it's much brighter. So with this you can differentiate your different blueprints and create from the same logic, from the same blueprint, you can create different variations of the same objects. Okay, so now let's extend on it a little bit more. I'll just put my previous stuff here. So let's now specify which color will be of our light. And to do this, let's create some logic in our character. For example, let's create a variable inside our character which be called light color, and depending on which color is set in our character, it will change the light of our light which we are interacting with. So to do this, we need to open a blueprint for our character. Let's find it. It's over here. Let's click Edit Third-Person Blueprint. This is a blueprint for our basic character, and let's create a variable. Let's call it light color, and let's say what color should be. It should be is I'm not mistaken, it should be linear color. There's different kinds of colors in Unreal Engine which are used for different things. Let's check which type of color using our point light. So this is our color, filter color of the light, and let's set light color. Yeah, so this is the function which we need, and this is actually a linear color structure, right? So we need to use a linear color in our third person, so this is correct. Let's compile, and let's make this light color public. So actually we can edit it by selecting our third person character in editor. And let's select the color very quick. Let's, for example, set for red to be easily identifiable. Let's compile and save. And now it's important we set this light color to public, because now we can edit it in our blueprint, as you can see here, default light color. But also making it public will share this this variable to our other blueprints. So now we need to specify when this color is applied. So first of all, we already have a casting to our character. So we're already asking the program to look at our third-person character blueprint. So from this casting, we can actually access all the variables and components which this third-person character contains. So I can only drag from here and ask for get me the light color, and it gets the variable from our third-person character. If this variable will be not public, it will not be available here. So now, after we set the intensity, we're setting the light color and connected it to the new color of our point light. So you can see that when we're entering the sphere, we're checking if the character is actually enters, and if yes, we set the intensity of the light to our intensity variable, which is set by default to 5000, and then we're setting the light of the color to the color which is specified in our third-person blueprint. Let's compile and save. And now when we are entering, we see that the light is actually turns red. If I change the light in my character blueprint to green and hit play, the light turns green. So this is a really simple method to create some differentiation. But then let's say we have to create some logic. So for example, let me think. For example, if you're near the light, if you're entering the sphere, there is like no, let me think. So let's actually create some advanced logic with the light. So for example, if the character is having some condition, then we turn the lights different colors. So for example, if we pick something from the world, it will change the colors of the light which we are interacting with. Yeah, it seems like appropriate thing to do. So to do this, we need to create another blueprint, but we actually have already one, which is called our blueprint chair, which is just a simple rotating chair in place. And we will create a logic. So when the character interacts or enters the chair, comes near to a chair to be correct, it will change the colors of the light when we are interacting with them. So let's try to do this. I will open our chair blueprint, and we should add here the same logic we have in our switchable light. So we need to create a sphere. Let's add it here, our collision sphere, like this. Let's set it to something smaller, maybe 350. Let's compile and save. And in event graph, let's do the same thing we do with the lights. And on component begin overlap. So when we overlap our sphere here, we'll also cast to third-person character. It will be our actor, which is actually overlapping. And now let's create another variable in our third-person character, and it will say well, it will be absurd, but bear with me, okay? Have chair. And this will be actually a boolean. So let's make this public too. And in our chair, let's get have chair. No, we actually should set it. Set have chair to yes. So when we are approaching the chair, we are setting the variable in our third-person character to yes, because it's a boolean, as I was talking before, and by default it's set to no, so we don't have chair. If we have chair, it will check the boolean like this, and it will be true. So when it's true, we will change the lights in our switchable light blueprint. And to do this, we are going back to our third-person character. We'll change the name of this light color to no chair light color. Duplicate this and say chair light color. So when we have the chair, the light will be red, or let's say green. It will be more logically accurate. No chair, yeah, no chair red. Right, so if we have chair, we have a green light. If we don't have chair, we have red light. So let's change this. We have two variables. Let's compile and save. We don't need to change anything in our chair. We can also add the end overlap. So when we leave the chair, it will set the variable to no. But we actually don't need this, because when we overlap, let's say delay. So we delay our code for 1 second, and then we'll say destroy actor. So it's actually like we have picked the chair. So we cannot no longer will interact with it to switch this to on and off. Let's compile and save. And then in our switchable lights, let's add some other logic. So we have our intensity, which we're leaving for now. And now we'll add a branch. So let's click branch. And what it will do, depending on the condition, which is a boolean, as you can see it's color coded, which is a boolean. If the boolean is true, we're going to execute this one. Let's delete this. And if the boolean is false, we will execute this one. And as you can see, we will set two different colors to this set light color function here of our light. So let's first specify which light color we're actually changing. So let's pick our point light and connect it to the target. So our target of light color changing is actually our point light here. And then we will get our chair, get have chair from our third person character. So if the character interacted with chair before, it will set the chair to true, and then it will switch to this light, which is actually our get chair light color. So we have our chair light. But if we not interacted with the chair before, it will be still in the scene, and the have chair in our third person character will be false. So that means it will set this one. So we will get no chair light, and then set it to our light, which is actually we are setting. So when we are entering our light, we will check if it's our character which is entering. If it's true, we will set the intensity of the light to 5000. Then we will check if the chair has the chair, if the character have the chair. If yes, the light will go green. If you have no chair, the light will go red. Let's compile, save, and let's check how this works. So let's also make this radius visible. Going to sphere and selecting hidden in game to false. Compile, save, and let's play. So now when we're entering lights, oh, they're green, huh? Okay. When we're entering chair, it's disappearing, and the lights are still green. Okay, something went wrong. Let's check what is it. When we're entering chair, we set the chair to true. We delay for 1 second and destroy the chair. So this is working. Also, for testing purposes, we can print string. So actually, the editor will tell us if what the thing has happened is true. So let's check this, and let's check this once again. So we have no chair light red, no green, okay, and here we have chair light green and chair light red. Okay, so it should be working. Let's check if the have chair is false by default. Yes, it's false by default. So yeah, it should be working. Yeah, of course, because I changed the color in my third person character, yes, before to green color, and it's overriding it. So I need to restore the default value of the color. So now it will be working. So we're entering, and the lights are red, both of them. We are coming to the chair. It says true. So we now set the have chair to true, and now we're entering the lights, and they're green. So with this you can create like a basic logic stuff. So depending on one action, the other actions are changing. So as you can see here, when we entering the chair, let's say radius, it switches the variable in our character, which then changes the variables of other blueprints and actors. We can say, for example, let's say no chair is blue and have chair is yellow. We can play, and you can see now we have a blue light. When we have chair, we have a yellow light. So this is actually how you can create some complex stuff. It's very basic and really simple right now, and I'm sorry that it makes totally no sense with this chair. But yeah, this is how you can create different types of logic. So the most important thing here is to actually understand that by casting, you can actually access other blueprints and extract the different variables from these blueprints. So as you can see here, from this cast to our character, if this sphere is overlapped not by our character but by something else, this variable will not work and it will give you an error. It will go to it's not a character, so find something which is a character to interact with, and then we can extract from these blueprints all kinds of variables which we can then set on a different logic. Yeah, so this is how it's made. Basically, you can with this type of programming, you can create everything you want, like opening doors, interaction with keys, and so on. And yeah, we can create some different types of interactions here. When we will create this bigger project together, I will show you how to implement input. So we're actually coming to the light and then pressing the button to turn it on and off. You can use different buttons to interact with the environment and so on and so forth. So there's lots of different stuff here. But as I said, it's better to work like on something than just on this basic nonsense stuff. So yeah, I think I will manage to create to prepare this project, environmental project for you, for at least the first part, where we can create some environments and add some animated characters into it, and then yeah, we will create something which is will be actually something real, not just simple interactions here. So this is like it for today. A little bit shorter today, and I hope next time I will manage to prepare the scene for you with all the materials. If you have any questions, type them in the chat or let me know on the Discord. So yeah, me and Meta are wishing you a nice holidays if you're a Christian, and yeah, have a nice week and hear you next time. Bye.